Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, with LPT Realty and the Sunshine State Investments team. Happy to be here with you guys this weekend. It was an amazing week that we had. Great weather and sunshine in the local Tampa Bay area. And we have a rockin' crew in the house today to speak with you about leadership. We're actually going to talk about being leaders in the industry, other leaders in the industry, who our mentors are, how to be a leader in any type of business that you're running. As you know, every weekend we bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. So today I have some awesome people in the room. Two people that I look at as leaders and mentors would definitely be Jennifer and Yulia with the Maximum Group in Tampa Bay. They started a team, opened up an office in Brandon. It's amazing. They do classes and events, and they have sent some great people over from their team. So the first person I have in the house today is Miss Kelly Rodriguez. She is with the Maximum Tampa Group. She's an LPT agent, newer in the industry, also bilingual. So what's going on, Miss Kelly?
Hi, I'm so glad to be here today.
I wish that I had a cool accent like you.
Thank you.
I love that. So where are you originally from?
I am from Venezuela.
Okay.
I've been here in Tampa more than 10 years now.
Okay. And so is it a massive cultural shift, life change, like all of the things when you move from an entirely basically different country?
Yes, it's totally different.
It's okay. It's totally different, like just moving into a new city. I get it. I think that when I moved from Chicago to Tampa, I had to change everything. I had to change my friend group, my family group, like every single thing that I did in my entire life shifted. And then also like I had to learn a new real estate market. It was like insane. So yeah, that's awesome. We'll follow up later in the show on just kind of what that move was like for you and just different people that have like mentored you and been leaders to you. That's awesome. And of course, I have Miss Jackie Acuna in the house. She's an LPT realtor, again with Miss Kelly and her. They're a part of the Maximum Group in Tampa. She's been a real estate agent for 4 years, and she also relocated from a different state. So you, Miss Jackie, came from Minnesota.
I did in August.
Oh, so you're brand new to Tampa. Okay. So Kelly, you said you've been here about 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now Jackie, you've only been here like not even 10 months.
Yeah. Yep.
What's
But
that
I'm
like?
loving it.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And you did do real estate before in Minnesota
I
as
did.
well.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So obviously both you and Kelly look up to Jennifer and Yulia as kind of your leaders and your mentors. So Jackie, tell me what it's like to be on the Maximum team in Tampa Bay.
I love it. When I was trying to figure out what broker I was going to join, I saw Julia on Facebook and I'm like, wow, I love her energy. I love how she is, how positive she is. And I'm like, I need to be there. I need to be part of her team. So
I know
that's what
they're a whole vibe, man.
Yep.
Jennifer and
Love
Yulia
it.
are a whole vibe.
Yep.
And so Kelly, are you enjoying being a part of the team as well?
Yeah, of course. So I changed to Maximum from a previous brokerage, and it's way better. I fully enjoy it here.
I love that. And I mean, do you think that it really matters, of course, as you're just getting into the industry, to have a positive leader, to have a positive mentor? Like, how do you feel about that?
Definitely. Whenever you have a great leader, you just do way better on your real estate career.
I think that like leadership definitely bleeds from the top down. And I think when you're running a real estate team or you're a leader, even in a brokerage, that you are kind of held to a higher standard. But it also is like so amazing to be able to touch other people, give back to other people, and then mastermind with amazing people. Did you guys have a chance to attend the conference this weekend?
I went to the VIP event. That was amazing.
Awesome.
I saw you there. You were like dancing, and I'm like, I want to be her friend so she can show me her moves.
Yeah, I have a tendency to be the life of the party.
You were.
So yeah, no, I actually was a dance theater major in college.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
a little
you
bit
can
of a little bit of a different career shift. I know most people are like, can this little like Caucasian girl really dance?
No,
And
you
believe it or not, I
can.
can salsa. I can do all the
Yeah.
things. So yeah, I
saw
love that.
it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have someone else special in the house today, someone that both of these lovely ladies work with, and talk about a leader in an industry. He has 22 years of experience in the lending industry. And I have Mr. Gustavo here with Homeowners Financial Group. What's going on, Gustavo?
Not much. Super happy to be here. First time on a radio show. Very excited.
Well, I'm excited that you could have your first time on a radio show when it is the last day of my 30s, as my 40th birthday is tomorrow. So we have a first for Gustavo, and then we have an end of my dirty 30s going into the fabulous 40s. So, Gustavo, 22 years in the lending industry. Do you have gray hair, yes or no?
A lot. I mainly lost my hair, but yes.
Oh, it made you
A
lose
lot
your
of
hair.
yeah.
Okay, fabulous. So why lending and why 22 years? And just tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, I kind of like started. It was one of those things that it wasn't planned. I was actually a teller at a bank, and I transitioned into being a personal banker, opening accounts, and then I eventually started doing loans, and I really liked it. And that was back in 2001. And after that, I became a loan officer right away.
Okay, well, I graduated from college in 2006. So clearly, Gustavo has years upon years upon years of real estate experience, lending experience, just experience running a team himself. So answer this for me, Gustavo. What is a true definition of a leader?
I believe that a leader is a person that you can follow, but as being followed by their peers and by the people that you are mentoring, a leader have to be a mentor. So people have to look up to them. And that I'm lucky to have a leader as a leader, friend, our office manager. It's a great friend and she's a great leader.
I love that. And so do you also run like a team where you have LOs underneath you?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a small team. Right now it's a transaction coordinator and another loan officer.
I love that. Well, it's awesome to have you here, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have a first-time experience with the LPT All-Star Radio Show. Remember, you guys can follow us on Facebook as well at the LPT Realty All-Star Radio Show. Look at all the reruns, everything that we have going on, touch base. We love being a catalyst and a connector in the Tampa Bay community, and LPT is a true leader. So I just want opinions from Miss Jackie and Kelly, and Jackie, you can go first on why you feel a leader is important in your career.
So a leader is very important in my career because, I mean, you look up to them. You follow their energy. Any questions you have, you know that they're there for you. They got your back. I saw this quote on Facebook and it said, I'm trying to remember it, but it said, teach your team to want to leave, but that they love their job so much that they want to stay. You know,
I
something
love
like
that.
that. I can't quite remember it, but I'm like, that makes so much sense. It's true. It's like, there's nowhere else I want to go. I mean, I'm perfectly happy where I'm at. So
that's so awesome. And I'm really glad you could move to Tampa and get plugged in. We love Tampa Bay. We feel like it's such like a melting pot of just culture and people and things.
Love it.
So I love that. And for you, Miss Kelly, even though you're new in the industry, how do you exemplify yourself as a leader just to other people maybe around you?
Yeah, so for me, a leader is very important because basically you look up to them, how Jackie said. Basically,
you follow like what they do and it helps you guide you into like what you want to do.
That's correct.
I think like being newer in the industry yourself, it's just critical to have people that like have your back, you know? I think everybody has strengths and weaknesses, right? You know, I have a new partner, Jennifer Spinelli, and we do things very differently, but as leaders, it just opens up the doors. And it's funny, like Jennifer and Yulia, they have like totally different personalities. They connect in so many ways. So it's just amazing. I'm so glad that all of you guys are here today. And if someone wants to contact you, Miss Kelly Rodriguez with the Maximum Tampa Group, could you give out your phone number?
Sure. So my phone number is 813-703-5528.
And Miss Jackie Acuna, I'm so glad that I got your name right. Also with the Maximum Group in Tampa. Could you give out your phone number?
Of course. It's 813-420-1086.
And Mr. Gustavo with the Homeowners Financial Group, lender in the industry of 22 years. Could you also give out your phone number?
Definitely. 727-641-5958.
Unfortunately, we're about to take a commercial break, but fortunately, you still have 3 more segments to go with us today. So we're going to pay a couple bills and we will be right back. But don't forget to download the iHeartRadio app. iHeartMedia is just amazing, amazing, amazing. And we are so happy to be in our new studio. Mr. James Berlander behind the scenes as he's looking at me right now, our awesome producer, and just being in this new studio with quality equipment, all of the gadgets, technology, everything we need. And iHeartMedia is just awesome. So download the app so you don't miss any of our further shows. And we are going to catch you after the break.
The best comp plans ever in stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home. And we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, with LPT Realty and the Sunshine State Investments Group with Jen Spinelli. Happy to be here in the studio today with Kelly Rodriguez and Jackie Acuna with the Maximum Group in Tampa. And of course, Mr. Gustavo with Homeowners Financial Group, who is an amazing lender, been in the industry 22 years. Today, we're talking about leadership, leaders, mentors, all of the things. And whether you are new in your industry, you have a corporate job, you're an entrepreneur, or you are a seasoned vet, you can always be a leader. So like anything that you do, you can be a leader. If you're driving in 6 lanes of traffic, you can be a leader. You don't have to go crazy and, run over curbs and all of the things. You can be a leader in every decision you make in your life. So we're talking about all the leaders' decisions and just being a mentor and what it means to these people. So Gustavo, I'm going to come back to you. This is $1 million question. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
So who, when I ask you, like, what is a leader in your life or what does a leader mean to you? You answered that, but who comes to mind for you?
As a leader for me that I follow?
Yeah.
I would say probably my wife.
Okay. Why?
She's kind of like the pillar of the house. So we all look up to her of what she does. Very, centric personality.
I love the pillar of the house. Okay, so what does the pillar of the house mean, Gustavo? I love that.
I think it's the personality and the way that she carries herself that kind of like brings everybody into, like, let's call it like equilibrium. Like if you're in a bad mood, she's going to help you to be in a good mood, vice versa. It's equilibrium, I would call it.
I am stealing from you pillar and equilibrium. Like those two things together are just fabulous. And as your wife listens to this show, you are not ever going to sleep outside, just so you know, because you gave the right answer. I love that. So your wife is like a pillar and an equilibrium in your household. So why is that important to have kind of that glue that like brings people together? Another thing you mentioned is like when someone's having a bad day, she kind of redirects like what you're saying or you're doing and changes like that whole vibe to become more equal and coexist. Why is that important in lending and what you're doing in the lending world?
Well, I think that myself and also realtors like Jackie and Kelly, we work so many hours. I mean, more than often, we don't know what a weekend is. We have our weekends, but we're usually working. I've done it for so long that I have been able to kind of like carry myself, knowing what, if it's a weekend, or schedule myself to what is it that I need to do. You always have to have time for your family. But the hours that we put into our jobs, sometimes we bring that into our homes, and we have to kind of like know how to separate it. So that's when she comes into play.
I love that. And I think too, in lending and in real estate, there's so many things that we do that we can't control. Right. So we can't control when the market shifts. We can't control if it's a seller or it's a buyer's market. So we have to be really able to adapt to change. So, Jackie, when you think of someone in your life that has been a leader to you, a mentor to you, and just kind of taught you how to adapt to change, who is the very first person that comes to mind?
I would say my mother. So we moved here from Guatemala. I was born in Guatemala. So she was able to move. There's 6 of us. So move all of us here with my father, of course, and just raise us and just, raise us to be good human beings. I look up to her a lot. So
I love that. Yesterday I was having a really bad day, and shout out to my dad. I called him and was like, Dad, everything's horrible. Like, everything's just not good. And, he's always taught me to like have thick skin and just kind of get my head back in the game. But, one thing that he said to me yesterday that just rang so true is like, Betsy, you're in control of your own time. You're in control of the people that you surround yourself with. So like, if you really feel like, things are not working or things are out of whack or all these different things that you can't control, start focusing on the things that you can control. And I definitely look at him as like a leader and a mentor. And I love that you picked your mom. That's really great. I'm sure that she'd be proud to hear that. But it's really cool to hear you say, Gustavo, that your wife is kind of the leader in this household and creates this equilibrium. And then you have Jackie, who's like, I really just like think about my mom, because house and home is where it starts, right? When we leave the door open, they say, are you born in a barn? Do you have home training? So I love to hear that both of you guys have people in your house currently and, where you came from, Jackie, that create that. So Miss Kelly, I'm your favorite person right now. I'm coming over to you. You cannot hide over there. Who, when you first think of, what a leader is to you or someone that mentors you, what's the first person that comes to your mind?
I mean, who wouldn't say their mother? I mean, the mother is the first person you look up to. They made everything with so much love, and that has taught me that you have to do stuff with. And now I'm trying to provide that to my customers, to do everything with love and dedication.
I love the words love and dedication. We have pillars, equilibrium. We have love and dedication. So how do you do what you're doing now and kind of apply what your mom taught you? Like, how do you do things with love and dedication?
I mean, you have to empathize with customers, trying to hear them. And I feel like my mother taught me that because she's always there for us, right? So
yeah, I think that also, just like what you said, I feel like there's 2 ways to listen. You can listen to respond, or you can actually listen and not like kind of be reactive. When someone's listening to respond, they already know what they're going to say before someone else says it. And that's not kind of showing your clients dedication and love. You need to listen to what their needs and wants are and just kind of hear them out. A famous thing that I teach my team in sales is I always say, repeat back to people what they say to you. So like, Kelly, what I hear you saying is 2 things that you need to apply in business is dedication and love and listening. So when you actually acknowledge what someone has said, it makes them feel like, wow, Jackie was really listening to me. Kelly was really listening to me. So I love that. I love that perception so much. So Mr. Gustavo, you're the seasoned vet in this room. What do you do with your lending team to really be a good leader just in the industry? As of right now, we've gone through this spike of interest rates and just really like kind of a rough patch with people just understanding. I mean, years and years ago, interest rates were way higher than they are now. It obviously is a good time to buy. Explain to me like what you do in the industry with your lending team and your clients to be a good leader.
What we try to do is we try to give information to our clients that is going to not only be helpful for them to make a decision, but it's also given to them in a manner that they're going to understand it. We get so used to, talking in the office with your peers and talking acronyms and FHA, VA. And so when we're trying to educate ourselves to give that information back to our clients and make sure that we're giving them in a manner that they're going to understand it.
I love that. And I also think that how you do and you exemplify your time with your customers then bleeds down to how your LOs exemplify time and care with their customers, correct?
Correct. 100%.
Awesome. So, Jackie, what is your favorite part about being a real estate agent, because you did this in Minnesota. Now you're here in Tampa. So we've kind of talked about what you learned from your mom and just leaders and all the things. What is your favorite part about being a real estate agent in Tampa now?
I love it when they're first-time home buyers and they're just so excited and they're just ready to start a family, and you're just there for the whole process, and you make pretty much their dream come true of owning their own home.
I love that. I think first time for everything. First time for Gustavo being in the studio. First time for Betsy turning 40 tomorrow. And Jackie loves first time homebuyers. I love this. That's awesome. That's really great. I think that first time homebuyers are great because they've accomplished such a big goal in their life, and it's not just people that are necessarily starting a family, but maybe it's their first investment property. Maybe it's their first home that they want to live in. It's such a big decision to be a part of something like that and say, hey, I gave the guidance, I gave the recommendations, I was there in their home when they first moved in is just awesome. I love that. That's great. Kelly, if anyone wants to contact you as an agent with the Maximum Tampa Group real estate team in Tampa Bay, could you give everyone your phone number?
Of course. So my phone number is 813-703-5528.
And Miss Jackie, if anyone wants to get a hold of you with the Maximum Group in Tampa, could you give everyone your phone number?
Yes, of course. It's 813-420-1086.
Fabulous. And Mr. Gustavo with Homeowners Financial Group, a lender, 22 years of experience, also bilingual. Could you give everyone your phone number?
Yes, 727-641-5958.
I love that. I'm so excited to have these guys in the studio today. And if you're listening right now, we actually are talking all things leadership, leaders in the industry, mentorship, and adapting to change is kind of what we're going to go to next, and how you can shift leadership in different seasons of your life. We are going to take a commercial break. And as soon as we get back, you're not going to want to miss more gems, tips, and tricks from these three fabulous people. Again, all things leadership today, mentorship, change, and just kind of what's happening in the industry or as an entrepreneur. We will catch you after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career, what your goals are today. Maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. You have not gotten rid of me yet. I am still Betsy Tinervin, your host, LPT Realty, Sunshine State Investments team with Jennifer Spinelli, local to Tampa, fire starter, disruptor, all the great things. Apparently today I'm an amazing dancer, as Jackie has explained. But we have Kelly Rodriguez and Jackie Acuna with the Maximum Group of Tampa Bay. My two amazing friends, Yulia and Jennifer. I mean, I get goosebumps talking about them, like them and their husbands. Yulia's actually now opened up a bakery, and it is amazing. I bought $63 worth of baked goods that have now gone to the entire lower half of my body, meaning my thighs and my behind. It was so amazing. I got one of everything. And there's these French fries there. I can't speak about them because it's like a culture thing, and I don't know what exactly they're called, but I will have her explain them on a different show. But they're just amazing people. They run the Maximum Tampa Group in Brandon, and their office is fabulous. They are just mentoring and coaching agents. So what a perfect show to talk about leadership today, as we have two stunning LPT agents on their team in the studio. And then we throw in the mix with all these fine ladies, Mr. Gustavo, who's with Homeowners Financial Group. He's a lender, 22 years in the industry, also bilingual, works with this awesome team from the Maximum Tampa Group. So as promised, we're going to talk about adapting to change in this segment. And I believe that leaders can have a season in your life, right? Everything that we go through, I'm going to go through a season tomorrow, going from the dirty 30s to the fabulous 40s. I'm hoping that makes me wiser, not just older. But I think that there's different seasons in your life and you have different mentors, right? One thing that is interesting about Gustavo and Kelly is that they both are from Venezuela. And then also we have Miss Jackie, who has moved from Minnesota. So we're going to talk about change, what it's like to relocate. And then how did you plug into leaders once you got here? right? So we're going to start with you, Jackie, because you're brand new. You are
am.
new to Tampa, girl.
I am.
And I feel you coming from like more of like the Midwest, you know, Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana. It is cold there, girlfriend.
It is cold. Very.
So one, how are you adapting to the heat?
Oh, I'm loving it. I
Okay.
keep sending pictures to my family and friends back home, and I'm like,
Have you done a Christmas here yet?
I did. This was my
Okay,
first
did it feel
Christmas.
very strange
Oh,
to
I
you?
loved it. Yeah.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it took me a minute to get in the Christmas vibe. I mean, you definitely have to hit up like the Wesley Chapel area because they do like fake snow, and then have conversations with people because there's true Floridians that have never seen snow. It's so strange for us.
I realized that.
Yes.
I was like, really?
That's why when it rains, no one in Florida knows how to drive. You know what I'm saying? So talk about change. How did you plug into new leadership here? And maybe that is with the Maximum Tampa group, but what did you do when you relocated into a new city? I'm sure the listeners would love to hear that.
So we decided to move, so it's not like we had to. So that makes it a lot easier, right? When you actually go to a place that you actually want to live to. But yeah, I think I love Facebook. That's exactly where I started at. I'm like, you know what? Let me Google like realtors, and Julia popped up. There she was. And like I said, I loved her attitude and her energy, and she was just so positive. And I'm like, you know what? I got to meet her.
And so then you just scheduled a meeting with them.
Yep.
Plugged in.
Yep.
I know once you meet them in person, it's just like a whole thing.
Yeah.
You
love
know?
it. Yep.
And then Jennifer comes into the mix.
Yeah.
Then you have Edwin and Marvin, and
Yep.
it's a whole thing. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So basically, what you did was you used Facebook to find someone
Yeah.
local in the area. Great suggestion. That's awesome for all the listeners out there. If you're relocating or visiting an area, you know, there's so many great things about social media. I mean, obviously, we all know that there is some negatives and some downfalls with the power of the internet. But there's some amazing things too. I mean, you can go on Facebook and look at different groups and businesses using other avenues of the internet as well, such as LinkedIn, and read people's resumes and, you know, websites. So that's awesome that you can showcase that. I think videos become very powerful too. You know, when you hear someone and see someone, it makes a total difference. So I love that. So Ms. Kelly, you came from an entirely different world.
That's correct.
Okay. And so going from Venezuela to Tampa, how did you find a leader locally to plug in with?
So basically, I came when I was very small. So when I started real estate, I started with another group, but I always loved the way Julia's and Jennifer's worked, so united and helpful. They used to be on my old company, so she moved to this one, and I basically followed her. I was like, I want to move with you.
I
But
love
yeah.
that. And I love you just said united. I think that they exemplify being united. I think that that is awesome. I love like hearing you say that like they're united as leaders, because I think when you're united as a forefront, it is so helpful. No, I think for anyone out there listening, what's really cool about hearing how they have plugged in with the same group of people just in different ways. Did you find them on the internet or Facebook, or how did you do that?
Yeah, basically on Instagram. I follow her, so.
So don't laugh at me, Kelly, but I just got an Instagram like 20 days ago. So don't judge my likes and follows, right? I love Facebook. I mean, I'm all about what Jackie said. For some reason, I just feel like the level of professionalism on Facebook is just so much more. Like you can get so many more like engaging and call to actions. And if you're really trying to generate leads or, you know, business, I like Instagram for the video, but there's no way to like communicate. Plus, I don't want things to go down in my DM. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not with that. Like, don't DM me, don't text me. You can ask Hillary, our lovely videographer and one of our amazing agents, Hillary Stediclue. She's in the studio today. She'll text me in 5 minutes. She'll get a phone call. Like, nah. Don't send me some emotional stuff via text, lady. Like, I want to hear the tone of voice. I want to hear this and that, you know. Just like she's about to take a trip to Aspen, and it's awesome for her. But I mean, she takes a trip every other week, and I'm like, Hillary, like, A, I don't get invited, and then B, she'll text that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love that. I love what both of you guys said. And Mr. Gustavo, you also relocated from Venezuela, and you're now here in the Tampa area. You've been here a little bit longer than Miss Kelly, but what was that like to just change and relocate? And how did you plug in with a new leader or mentor here in your industry?
So it was pretty wild. I was supposed to come here and learn English, then study like for like 2 years and then go back. And I never went. I did all the jobs that you can think of. marketing, yard work, waiter, bartender, everything. And then eventually I found my place doing loans.
I love this. So you did marketing, yard work, plugged into all the things. You were not supposed to stay here. Your entire life shifted, and then you got into lending.
Yes, it was a little easier because my dad was already when I first moved here, but still it was pretty different. It
Have
was
you applied to be on a Netflix documentary?
No.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that. So why go through all of those things? Like you're trying to learn English and you did like the marketing and the yard work and all of that and then plugged into lending. Were there times where you were just like, you know what, enough is enough, I can't do this anymore? Or was it always, I'm just going to push through?
Well, the situation back home in Venezuela with the government wasn't helping. So it wasn't, I never really doubted me going back. It was never, I could have, but it was never an option for me because it's not what I wanted to do.
It's like the Journey song, Don't Stop Believing. Dude, I'm such a dancer, Jackie, not a singer. Like, I remember auditioning for multiple dance roles, and the minute they said, can you sing a song? I said, absolutely not. And I was cut off the roster. Like, it was a no-go for me. I really love that, Gustavo. I think that's awesome just to hear you say that, you know, the situation that you came from wasn't great and the plan was not to stay, but you just kind of realized, okay, if I like persevere and I push through, better things are going to come for me. And I think everybody, back to the social media tip, you know, sees people on social media and they see success, but they never get to see the struggle. And so you are not going to want to miss segment 4, all my lovely listeners. We're going to talk about leadership through struggles. We've talked about who leaders are to these people, how they're mentors, and just kind of what they've also did to adapt to change in leadership. And now we're going to talk about what happens when you're struggling, or as a leader you're struggling, or your leader's struggling, just kind of the struggle in entrepreneurship, business, life, real estate, all the things. And then of course we'll throw in some real estate tips from Kelly and Jackie and a couple lending tips for the current market today with Mr. Gustavo. So Kelly, throw out those digits. Maximum Tampa Group, LPT agent. If someone wants to contact you, how do they do that?
Via phone number, so it's going to be 813-703-5528.
And Miss Jackie Acuna, Maximum Group in Tampa. If someone wants to get in touch with you for all of their real estate needs, and if they have also never seen snow and want you to show them photographs, since you are from Minnesota, what is your phone number?
It is 813-420-1086.
And Gustavo, who has a ultimate pillar in his household, keeping everyone together. Been in the lending business 22 years, homeowner financial group. Could you throw out your phone number, please?
727-641-5958.
We are going to take a commercial break, friends, and we're going to be back with all things struggle. We're going to talk about what it's like to struggle as a leader, what happens when your leader is struggling and you are looking up to them, or just when anything's not working, and we'll catch you after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. We want to thank LPT Realty and Mr. Robert Palmer for making this show possible. LPT Realty is the catalyst and connector in the Tampa Bay area, bringing in amazing business, vetted business partners in the studio every weekend, along with our lovely LPT agents, to talk about 3 things in the raw and real fashion: life, business, and of course, real estate. Happy to be in the studio today with Kelly Rodriguez and Jackie Acuna, both LPT agents with the Maximum Group in Tampa, led by Miss Yulia and Jennifer. They have an office in Brandon, brand new office. Of course, it's decorated to the 9. Yulia also just opened up a bakery. I believe it's Durant's Bakery. Gotta love them. Fire, just boss women, just a whole vibe. Great to be around. And Kelly and Jackie are on their team, just amazing agents, talking all things leaders and mentorship today. We've gone through 3 amazing segments to speak to all the entrepreneurs out there, anyone in lending or in real estate, as we also have Mr. Gustavo here with the Homeowners Financial Group, a lender, 22 years in the industry. He as well is also a leader And he is a pillar in what he has going on with his lending group is he has a couple LOs underneath him. He's bilingual and he can help with all your lending needs. So as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about struggle. I know everyone knows that famous quote, like the struggle is real. Today, I drove through Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee. Nobody came to the speaker. And so I pull forward. I'm literally behind the girl. This is no joke. For anyone that knows me, I do over exaggerate a little bit, but this is no joke. Waited 10 minutes behind the person to order because I drove to the window because no one came up. And then I pulled around that car and went in. I went in there. There's one girl in there frantic. She has 15 online orders. And she just looks at me and she's like, no one came to work today. Like, I have no one to help me unload this truck. So I feel like in the world today, the struggle is real. Everything's moving slower, but everyone expects more out of us. So you don't have to be a leader to really have this discussion. You can also discuss like anything real estate, anything lending that you guys want to talk about, but just talk to the listeners about what that's like to struggle as a leader or watching your leaders struggle or what you do maybe when you're in struggle and you go to your leaders. So we're going to talk first with Mr. Gustavo, because Gustavo, you've been a leader for quite some time in this industry. So just talk to me about what happens when struggle occurs.
It depends. I mean, we go through phases in the industry and cycles, and obviously this is one of those cycles where the struggle, as you said, is hard. But I think if we continue to do what we're supposed to do, and I'm a big fan of communicating and giving good information, you may perceive what is happening right now as a really bad time to buy real estate, but I'm a true believer that the right time to buy a home is when you can buy a house. Regardless of what the market is doing, the right time is when you're ready to buy a house.
I agree with you. I think what people have to remember too, it was funny, I've talked about this multiple times, when COVID hit, realtors were considered essential employees and real estate doesn't stop. You know, so I think that as the world continues to push through kind of the small financial recession that we're in, which is just inevitable. I mean, when milk is $9 a gallon and gas is $5 a gallon, that's what's happening. We're fighting inflation with inflation. However, I agree with you, Gustavo. Like, you have to have a place to live. Right. And so rents are rising as well. And we've been lucky to be in an apex market where rents are rising and the appreciation in homes and sellers' house, they cost more. They're worth more. I mean, we're the #1 metro market in the country. So I agree with you. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on like maybe why is still a good time to buy, even though it seems like we're in a struggle, Gustavo?
Well, one of the biggest things that people compare to what we're going through is back in, between 2006 and 2009-10, when the supposed bubble burst. It's a completely different situation happening right now.
I agree.
Right now, it's basically the fact that we had COVID. We had basically rates that were given to us because of the market that were fictitious, pretty much. I mean, 30-year fixed are below 2.5%. But the biggest thing is that right now, the market cannot crash. We have millions of people that want to buy homes, and there are not enough homes. So it is a completely different market, and it's a time to buy because basically the industry is giving all the right information and characteristics for if you want to buy and you can buy. If you can afford to buy, you should buy instead of renting. That's always going to be the right choice to do.
Gustavo, you mean that a 30-year fix at 2.5% wasn't going to stay forever?
Nope.
Man, someone lied to me, man. No, I love that. I think that's great. And I also think that we are in a fabulous market and we're really lucky to be in Tampa. So, Jackie, I'm going to turn to you. What do you do like during times of struggle? Do you go to a leader? Do you go to a mentor? What do you do when your leader or mentor is struggling? And maybe just what do you do in the industry when things are just kind of difficult to navigate through?
So I consider myself a mentor with my clients. I'm trying to show them the right way or where to go or what to do. So when things get hard, during the transaction, that's when I need to like put on my hat, my leader hat and be like, hey, I'm here for you. We can do this together. At first it was hard. Like I remember the first year in real estate, I was like, oh my gosh, I would cry so much, but it gets better, especially when you have a good team, like a good lender that you can count on that would do the best for your client when it's needed. that will do, everything that they can.
I love how you looked at it as like the struggle in a transaction. And I loved how you also brought up the factor of having that team. That's amazing. And Kelly, for you, like getting in the industry, plugging in with a team, you said you like relocated teams. What do you do in the real estate industry when like times get tough?
Yeah, I believe on this industry, you have to have people to look up for. Basically, when you have a team, you can get out of the struggle easier. Basically, when a customer doesn't know how to take the next step, you guide them and
I love
follow
that.
up to you, basically.
Yeah, and also I think like when you talked about steps, the real estate transaction process has a lot of steps. So when you're looking at a client or a transaction, it's like, how do I get from step 1 to 10? But then there's other people involved, like lending and inspections and all of that stuff. So Jackie, kind of dive a little deeper into how do you get from 1 to 10 when 7 just stops everything? What do you do?
Oh, it's hard. You start over or you kind of figure it out. And the thing is, like, there's always a way. Like, we will figure it out one way or another. Like, that's the thing. It's like, if you have the desire to be a homeowner, all you need to do is reach out. Like, if there's a will, there's a way. So we just figure it out. And like I said, having that team, lender, brainstorming with them, the lenders have been through a lot too. Like, they know, they have seen every situation. So
For sure.
yeah.
And Kelly, what do you do like if you don't know the answer? Like, who do you go to? What do you do if you don't know the answer? Because I feel like every day of my life, I don't have all the answers.
I reach out to my team, basically, because that's, once again, that's the people I look up to whenever I don't know an answer.
I love that you guys are like all about your team. And I also love that you're not afraid to say like, hey, I rely on my team. We rely on our team, even our agents as team leads, to give us advice on what's going on. I love the factor that when we bring new agents in, maybe they go through an experience that we haven't gone through in several years. And Gustavo, I'm sure you can relate to that. Being in lending 22 years, a newer LO is going to go through a situation that maybe you haven't experienced. So I think that that's awesome. And Gustavo, what do you do as a leader with someone that is newer in the industry, especially in the industry in 2023 that has just been rocky and up and down and all over the place? Not that it's been bad, but it's just had a lot of shifts and twists and turns. What do you do with a newer LO that you're kind of molding and training?
We really tell them to go back to basics. Obviously, they're not going to know what those basics are, but we teach them, hey, when we start with a client, this is what the process, we go through the application, we go through the credit, and then every client, unless you've closed 50, 100 loans plus, every situation is going to be different. Even I've closed thousands of loans, and every other day I see something that I've never seen.
That's the craziest thing about the real estate and lending market is that every other day it's something new, it's something crazy, it's all the different things. Well, I have loved having you guys in the studio today. I hope that you've had a fabulous time spending time with me and that you will still come back and hang out. Thank you to Julia and Jennifer for letting me borrow the Maximum Tampa Group. Ms. Kelly Rodriguez, Maximum Tampa Group LPT agent. Could you give everyone your phone number?
Of course, it's going to be 813-703-5528.
And Miss Jackie Acuna, Maximum Group Tampa, LPT Realty. Miss used to be Minnesota, now Miss Tampa Bay. Could you give everyone your phone number?
Of course. It's 813-420-1086.
And Gustavo, Homeowners Financial Group Lending. Could you give everyone your number?
727-641-5958.
And unfortunately, guys, that is a wrap for today. Loved being with you, and we will catch you next weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.